All right. Hello, everybody. This is Steven Yassel on the Yissel Missile Productions channel. Today, we have a special guest. Her name is Nadine Askey, and she is a um, volunteer for rescue and recovery efforts for North Carolina. And that is the topic that we are going to be focusing on today. And she is here. So I want to invite her in so she can give her own introduction here and tell everybody a bit more about herself, and we will get this conversation rolling. So I hope you all had a great past month. Been very busy over here, and we are trying to get a little more awareness out for what is going on across the country, really, here in the United States. So, yeah, let's bring her in here and we'll have a little introduction, then we'll get rolling. So, hey, Nadine, can you hear me?
Yes. Yes, I can.
Awesome. Hey, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Just recovering from a little sinus infection. I don't know what's been going around, but
Yeah, I think everybody I know has had something lately.
yeah, it got really cold here last night. It got down to single digits in the Chicagoland area. So,
Wow.
I mean, what are we to do? That's normal
Yeah.
for us over here. But yeah, it's kind of all over the place. But
Yeah.
yeah, where are you? So are you you're on the East Coast right now, is that correct?
Yes, I'm in Pennsylvania.
Excellent. And yeah, you feel free give the audience a little rundown about what you do and why you're here
Okay.
today.
Okay.
And yep.
So my friend Jeff and I started the Foxhole Foundation due to being down in the Bulladine, North Carolina area back in October. So we just saw such a need, and the things that we were doing, we just felt wasn't enough to just drop and go and think that we were done. So we just decided to go feet, head, and body first, just diving right in um, to help these people as much as that we can.
No, that's great. It's something I wish I could do. I mean, I think a lot of people say that, but there's a lot of restrictions, restraints in personal life and also with the government trying
Right.
to get in the middle of everything.
Yeah.
But you're out there directly helping people
Yes.
who have lost like
Everything.
everything in their
Everything.
lives. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. So our attitude is we don't really give a shit about the government. So we do what we do. And if there's an obstacle, we will go over it, around it, under it, whatever's necessary, through it, whatever. Um, we are here to help humanity. So we're not going to let anybody try to ruin that for us. These people are in desperate need. Um, they have literally lost everything. So if anybody can imagine looking around them now and imagine it being gone, that's what these people are facing. They've literally lost everything.
Oh yeah, and you've already helped I want to say more than several people at this point with
Oh,
getting shelter and
yes,
trying to get back on their feet with everything.
yes. So this weekend, we actually have three campers coming to us. Last week, just over a week ago, we had gotten a woman off the street with her son and her dog. That was quite an ordeal because many of the motels in Asheville will not allow res residents to stay. Anyone that's local, they're not allowed to get a room. So I was on a show, last week that of, Beyond the Box, and I
Mhm.
blasted the three motels that we were trying to deal with. I just blasted them. So I gave their name, address, and phone number and told people to just get on the phone, tell them how disgusting they are, just blast their phones and don't let them have business. We need to put these people out of business. They don't care. We explained to them the situation with these people and they don't care. They said it's their policy. So
Oh,
I think it should be our policy as Americans to take them out of business.
yeah. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I went on, I was with that particular broadcast on Beyond the Box with Brenda.
Hmm.
She, we had a at least three different hotels that we listed with the phone numbers for
Yes.
people to go in and contact them and be like, hey, what
Yes.
are you guys doing? Like, we're trying to help people survive, and here you're turning people away because, like, for whatever reason they did. And
Right.
it's very disrespectful in that sense when you've front paid for these
Yes.
people to have a warm place for the night, and then they're trying to kick them out the door once they have the money. And so,
Correct.
yeah, we had to put a spotlight on that because it was kind
Yes.
of ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, that
But
lady is now going to have a home. She is getting a camper this weekend. We
awesome.
had a wonderful woman from South Georgia. Her name's Elaine. She bought a camper and is fully stocking this camper. And so a part of our team, Evan, he's going down on Saturday to bring that. They're still working on location of where to put it for her. So we did pay for the hotel that we did get her in for 2 more nights. If it needs to be extended, we'll extend it, but hopefully that'll be enough time for her to get into this camper. So we have another one coming from Tennessee. Jeff is picking that up tomorrow. That's a pop-up camper. And then we have another large camper coming from Wyoming. That will be here this weekend. That's been sourced out for travel. So we've had several people along the way pick it up to bring it a little bit farther. And been at no cost. Everybody's donating their time, their gas, um, doing the right thing, that we should all be doing. So, it's been pretty amazing to see, the American people coming together.
And you had said the Red Roof Inn was one that was very accommodating for
Yes,
everybody involved.
yes, yes. As a matter of fact, I talked with him. I told him that we were a foundation trying to help people. So he worked with me on the price and he's charging us $500 for a week flat fee.
Wow.
Yeah, so
Uh,
he's been really helpful.
Typically, how much would that normally cost for somebody?
Um, I actually didn't ask him like how much it was per room. But even taxes, how they have like luxury tax and all that kind of
Yeah,
crap that they
it
add
can
onto it.
easily be like 130, 140 a day.
Easily.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. So, that's a huge savings for 6 nights.
Yeah, it definitely is. I'm going to be sharing the same information you gave here right now.
Okay.
The three hotels that refused service, if anybody here on this channel wants to share their thoughts of them on why or how they just refused service to these flood victims. And then the one to thank would be Red Roof Inn.
Yes.
And the phone number is right there on the screen. So for future reference for anybody watching later after.
Yeah.
But
Even if you go on and do reviews, go on to those other three and give a 0-star review if you can do zero. Um, and put in there how disgusting they are of human beings.
yeah.
And
And
I know people have been calling because I actually called a few nights ago and tried to request a room, had a conversation, and they refused. They're continuing to refuse. The manager told me, I'll tell you the same thing I told the last 5 people that called in the last hour. So people are calling,
wow,
which
that's
is
good
good.
stuff.
Yes, and the one I informed, It was a young girl's voice. She said, "I'm just a worker." She said, "I'm just doing what I'm told. You know, the owner is the one that has the policy." And I asked if he was available. She said he was not. So I asked her to get a message to him. So she said she would. And so I told her to let him know that what he is doing, denying people shelter that's willing to pay, especially um, when there's a need to save lives. I said that's crimes against humanity. I told her to have him look into Executive Order 13818 and also to look at what the punishment is for crimes against humanity. And maybe he should rethink his policy.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. It's just incomprehensible
Yeah.
that they would be turning people away when they're living right in the center of all this that happened.
Yes.
And I mean, even with flooding, we have a short, very minimal history of flooding compared to what happened to North Carolina over here
Hmm.
in Niles. But that's part of what like drew me to all of this as well is I mean, I really sympathize for flood victims, and this is a like unimaginable 20,
Right.
30 feet of water just
Right.
pushing all of these houses away, wiping them right off the face of the earth.
Yes.
And
Literally.
like the horror stories, even just researching into this is, I mean, it's heartbreaking that there's
Well,
so
yeah,
many
because
lives that have been lost from it.
yes, I've actually seen the areas where there used to be houses. There are places where there were houses and there aren't even foundations anymore. The foundations are even
Oh,
gone, or they're filled in completely. Or I've taken so many pictures. There was a vehicle, you couldn't describe what the vehicle was because it was upside down and buried, and all you could see was like the top of the tires sticking out. Um, I mean, the landscape will never be the same. In many, many areas, the land is down to the bedrock. There's no soil left. So, you know, to think that these people can get their lives back anytime soon, that it's not going to happen. These people need help for a long time, which is why we started this foundation, because we know that we as you know Americans, as patriots, we need to be there for each other. We need to show the government that we don't need them. We
yeah,
can
and
do
there
this on our own.
I've heard and looked at some of the stories about FEMA, and they're not being helpful at all. And it's
No.
part of the big government machine. It's
Yes.
very lethargic. It's inefficient, and these people need the help now, and that's
Yes.
where you come in, and you're
Yes.
working one-on-one
Yes.
directly with these people that are just even they don't know what the next day is going to bring. And this is
Exactly.
all from a very short window of these floodwaters coming in and just scooping everything out. I mean,
Yes. 2 weekends ago, we did our Christmas cash giveaway. So at that point, we used up all the money that we had. So we had enough to give 17 families $800 per family. So we were hand delivering most of them. Some of them weren't available. So we gave some of them to a family member for them, gave some to the fire chief to get to them. And they would send us pictures that they received it. But Jeff, right now, with the money that we've gotten since then, he's going to be doing well. Every time he comes across somebody now, he just keeps cash on him, and he gives it out. If he comes across somebody with a need, he's handing money out to them. So for
that's
anybody that
great.
wants to know what we're doing with it, that's what we're doing with it. One, Christmas is coming, and a lot of these people don't even have the bare necessities, let alone anything for Christmas. So there's so many with children. We helped a family that Deirdre had found just out of the blue on a Facebook page. So we visited her with her children, gave them supplies, food, toiletries, all kinds of things like that. We gave them 15 gallons of gas for the generator, um, clothing. She was literally all she was asking for was Christmas ornaments for the tree. She said that she already explained to her children that they weren't going to be able to get presents this year. So but she wanted to still have the Christmas spirit in her home. So she wanted ornaments and everything. So we did that. And then we had 600 and some dollars on us that we gave her that as well. And then after we left, I told our team that we need to make sure that these children have a Christmas. So I asked her for lists for Santa. We got those, and everything's being delivered. Everything's already been ordered and being delivered. So those
Excellent.
children will have a Christmas.
Uh, are you aware of whether or not the $750 from FEMA has even been paid out yet? Or is that
So
starting?
I've heard that some people have gotten it, but I also know personally of many who have not, who have been denied, and
Yeah,
told that
I've
they
heard
can
a lot of that.
reapply. Yeah,
So
yeah,
I only bring that up because you mentioned about 17 families that you've helped giving $800 each in efforts of getting them to a better place. And
right.
that's better than what the government is doing.
Yes,
And
yeah.
And so even with some people, if they're thinking about like, oh no, like what is one person going to do? This is what one
This
person
is
can do. And I'm
exactly
not saying you're the sole person
right,
helping out through Foxhole, but
right.
you being a part of this helped make
Yes.
that happen.
Correct. Yeah, and that's, I try to tell everybody it's not hard to help people. It's really not. People make it harder than it has to be. Um, I say it on every single podcast because I don't know if new listeners are hearing my voice, but there are no excuses anymore that you can say that you can't help because you can't afford your own bills. I understand that. I understand that there's a lot of people, that are struggling, outside of this hurricane, but you can still be an avenue to raise money. You may not have the money of your own, but you can raise money. Be creative. There's many things you can do to raise money. Even if you're just asking your family, friends, neighbors, and coworkers. If you even just do that, put yourself out there and say, hey, this is what I want to do. We really need to come together and help these people. Will you help me out? you know so there's no excuses. And anybody who wants to give an excuse, I hope nothing ever happens in your life that you need people like us.
Yeah, it's very humbling when something like this happens to anyone. And I mean it's not a laughing matter. And here you are picking up the slack and um I really appreciate it, and that's why I have you on here today to get the word out, to get more people to help donate, and to get more North Carolinians back to some sense of normalcy.
Right.
And so, like this photo I have here on the screen, is this the main team that you're working with?
No, that was a team that was down in Bulladine. They travel to different things. Our team is more family now, meaning we've all met in kind of odd ways, but family when you see them.
Yeah,
And so we've just established a group. There's probably about 9 of us that are pretty regular. That we're just doing something on a constant level. Jeff is like a rock star. I mean, he is every day, out there driving for hours and hours and hours and hours every day doing something. You know, he too. Okay, so he's retired U.S. Air Force Master Sergeant, and he's a disabled veteran. He left his own life behind, meaning his own property. He and his wife went to Bulladine, stayed there for 6 weeks in their camper, and helped every day for 6 weeks. Since they've been home, he's about, I think it's like 2 hours away from the areas where we've been helping. He's there almost every day. That's how much he's traveling. He's there almost every day, um, going all over the place. So his own property has been destroyed. He has 40 acres in Virginia. And His entire property has been destroyed, just like North Carolina. He needs a logger to come in to clean his land. And
Oh,
yet he's
wow.
not worried about his own land. He's worried about these people because he still has shelter, because he knows, that he still has a warm bed. He still has food in his belly. He has everything. So he's got the time. He's retired. Um, and has the time, and this is what he's chosen to do. And he's very, very dedicated. But
Yeah,
we have an
that's,
amazing team. You know, um, you can't get any better than the people that we have.
do you mind if I play this video really quick?
Nope, go ahead.
Awesome. We're gonna try to avoid music copyright here. But yeah, um, oh, I want to reiterate to my viewers here that the amount of water that washed through this area, what it was never seen before. Like anybody currently living has not seen such disaster as the way this all turned out. And it wasn't even projected to be that when it first was going to be uh, passing through. And all of a sudden, there are the floodwaters coming down from the mountains. I've seen a lot of the different videos from Instagram, TikTok. A lot of it was on Twitter too. But it's it's something I never want to experience myself, and I'm sure nobody else wants to either.
Right,
But it's such a sudden thing where like not only are people's houses being picked up and thrown away, but like their cars and like their property foundation themselves, like you said, with the foundation of the house, but also all the dirt underneath it,
right,
s- and just completely washed away until the bedrock's there. I
right,
mean, I've last year I did do a road trip to North Carolina with my family, and we ended up passing through a lot of these winding, twisting roads where you are flanked with rock on each side of the highway. And
right.
so I can imagine how that looks now. Like I can only imagine because it was very beautiful going in. I'm sure it's still beautiful now, but a lot of that soil and the greenery, it's going to take a long time to come back. And like you said, your friend had needs to have a logging company come out. Like these are trees that are piled like sticks.
Yeah,
Am I right with that?
yes, yes. You're seeing like almost a whole forest that's just laid over. And then the trees that are still standing are stripped bare. There's not even really a lot of branches on them left. There's no tops to the trees.
And that's just from just the amount of water that swept
The
through
amount
the
of water,
areas.
yes, the heavy winds.
Yeah,
A
the
lot of
winds too.
people say that there were tornadoes that went through there. Um, when have you ever known of a tornado to go through the mountains? I've never heard of that.
No, I wouldn't have guessed that. Because normally with the higher elevation, it prevents it from forming, from what
Correct.
I understand.
Hmm. But when you
So,
see the destruction, I saw trees that literally were twisted like a piece of candy wrapper twisted. I don't know how to even explain that.
yeah, like basically they like rang out like
Yes,
a rag almost.
yes.
Wow.
And
Now,
this video, Evan, he's from Georgia, and he saw us. I don't remember what he actually saw us on. I don't remember if it was SG, but he reached out to us and wanted to support our foundation. And so he brought his smoker up, all the food, um, on his own dime, and donations that he had gotten from his area. And they made 1,000 meals in 2 days, all free of
wow,
charge.
that's beautiful.
And he's a continued daily part of our team now. He's incredible. So that's how our family's been getting built.
Now, I do have a question, and you don't, I guess you don't have to answer it one way or another, but I need to ask it. How, how do you think, or how much do you think this storm that passed through was natural versus man-made?
Well, I think it was zero natural.
Okay. Yeah,
I don't
because
believe that at all. I believe that this was intended to land grab. We have situations that we were in when Jeff was down there where we don't have solid proof to do anything, but we're not stupid either. We know that they're taking children. We know that they are land grabbing. There's different situations down there. And so part of the reason we are moving locations is to get away from those people who we know are not doing the things that they should be doing. We've come across multiple people who are scamming also. They're taking advantage of the situation and they're doing things that they shouldn't be doing.
wow.
And it makes it hard for people like us because we're not doing that. And so I understand why people, are hesitant, in giving items, giving money, things like that, because there are literally POSs out there, that are stealing supplies and things and reselling them. And it's like, you know, it's just disgusting to me. So, you've always got these ignorant opportunists out there, no matter, you know, what disaster there may be, and we've come across them.
Yeah, I'm glad you answered the question because I mean, yeah, like I mentioned earlier, it's unprecedented, and also there's some mineral mines that are in
Yes,
that area.
yes.
So when you
Um,
mention land grab, that's actually a big
yeah.
part of that.
When we were down in North Carolina 2 weekends ago, SG and On had us on again while we were all down together. Evan had already gone back to Georgia. He had to get back to work, so but he was still on it. So Evan actually he does gold mining and he has mined in North Carolina. So he had a lot of informative information about why they want that land. Um, we've spoken to several locals that say to us that they're born and raised knowing that the government wants their land.
Wow.
They know it. So it's not surprising as to what we're seeing happening and the vultures going in there finding the generational families with mineral rights, and that's what they're doing.
So they've known about this for a long time, like you said. Yeah, the
Yes.
grown up knowing that they're living on land that's very valuable,
Yes.
and then ending up
Hmm.
um,
Yep.
being in this situation where now
Yeah.
everything's lost. Wow. Well, I mean, this is like the most that you can do at this time. And I really like I thank you for your efforts because a lot of people, like I said before, they want to help. They
Hmm.
don't know how to help. Well, this is a way for you to help
Right.
one-on-one with people who are looking for shelter to
Hmm.
this day.
Right.
And Nadine's out there with her team making sure that those needs are met in the most critical time too. We're
Right.
heading into the dead of winter.
Yeah, it's very
So,
cold down there.
and you've also helped people that still have their pets, thankfully.
Yeah,
And
so this woman actually, it wasn't even her dog. The dog found her after the storm and she tried to find the owners and couldn't find them. And sadly, those owners may be dead. So this is the kind of woman that she was. And, I mean, we would help no matter what, but I'm just going to tell you the kind of woman that she is. It was not even her dog. Okay. So she's just, learning about this dog. And she could have gone into a shelter, but they don't take dogs. And she was not going to leave that dog out in the cold.
wow.
So she decided to stay out with that dog.
And so she stayed overnight and outside in the cold with the dog.
She had been outside, I don't know for how long. Since the storm, she was like in and out. Um, but how we found her, Deirdre found her on a Facebook post and read that the woman was scared to um, freeze to death. And so she's like, can we find her? So Deirdre found her through somebody who was in the area helping. And then as soon as we got in contact with her, Deirdre got in contact with her. Um, we worked out. That's when we started looking for rooms, and we got her in as soon as possible. So the first day when we were supposed to have her in, we paid for the hotel, and she got there to check in. And because her son didn't have an ID, they told her that she couldn't stay. It was just like another excuse.
Yeah, and
Um,
when you lose everything, the ID is included. So
exactly.
they're
Yeah.
not being
You're not worried
understanding.
about going back in your house to try to find your ID. I mean, it's just ridiculous. But when have you ever gone and stayed in a motel and they've asked for everybody's ID that's staying in the motel?
Now it's just been
They
one
don't,
person. The person
you know?
paying.
Yeah. And so they're just doing things to make it difficult, and to have reasons to push them away. So, when it took us, so that night when they turned her away, her and her son and the dog found an abandoned car to sleep in overnight without heat. And there are families dying. Last week there was a family of 3 that died. People are dying.
Yeah, I can't wrap my head around it. Like all these people are in need. Our government's not there. I mean, we should never rely on our government, firstly. But I mean, just having all of this happen so quickly, you want to help everybody, but it it's just it it can't be, I don't want to say it can't be done. All right, I'm not gonna say that. But you're doing what can be done.
Yeah,
And I think that's the important thing. And yeah, like you have you have to think about this too, everybody. Nadine is taking her time away to do this. And it's not like she's doing it begrudgingly. She's doing it out of the from in here. I'm trying to say out of the love, the caringness of your heart. But it is a big time commitment and
yeah,
it is a lot of work to take on. And here you are doing it with this team. And I think it's a um very important effort.
yeah,
And that's why I wanted to have you here on my channel today so that this can get out to other people.
right.
And I'll share you the link of this too once we're done. I know I said I'd do it before, but no, I think we rolled pretty smoothly when we started here, but I really want to point out that in this Foxhole Foundation logo, you see that there's a tail on the O. That's because this is the letter Q.
Yep.
So if you come up here to the top of the URL, it says fqxholefoundation.org, and that is where you can find all this information. And if you want to donate, this is the place to do it.
Yes.
And it's look, you got hashtag there. I know you mentioned on another show that you had somebody in a parade advertise this as well.
Yes, there was a husband and wife that is in Kentucky, and he too is a veteran, and um, he has a race car that he does parades with. And so he had his big trailer, had our Foxhole Foundation put on his trailer to advertise.
Excellent.
We have some other good things. I can't mention them yet. We need more details. But we have some pretty incredible things coming up.
Now, what areas besides Asheville have you helped out with so far?
So when we started out, it was in Bulladine, moving to Green Mountain, Burnsville. Now we're heading towards Swannanoa. Um, so Jeff has some possible land that's going to be getting donated to us. He has to find out the location and everything, because we want to have a base camp so that we can work out of, where we can be a distribution center, where we can have equipment, things like that, because this is going to be years in the making, to rebuild these areas. So he's in the works of that literally every day. I haven't worked this hard in a while. And I'm even in Pennsylvania. It's even, harder on Jeff, but I feel like from the moment I wake up to the moment I go to sleep, I'm doing something, outside of my normal life.
Yeah. And that just further um lends to your credibility, the way that you're going and putting all of this time and effort into it. It is it's good to see,
Yeah.
because like I said, I wish I could be out there. I mean, I would have to move a lot of things around. I know how difficult it is to even do that. So I really appreciate that you were able to, because
Yeah. Thank you.
some people can't, and I know I have friends too that are wheelchair bound. They can't go and travel like they want
Right.
to.
Right.
And so I know for a fact that some of them are living as a surrogate through you, with the way that you're able to go out there and do this on yeah, on your own, but with this team.
Right.
But you're making the choice first and
Right.
foremost for yourself.
Yeah. And if people follow us, on Facebook, they'll see everything that we're doing. We try to post everything that we're doing. We do photographs. Deirdre is excellent with the videos. So the video that you were showing without the music,
Hmm.
if people will go on and actually watch it with the music, it will make you cry.
Yeah, it'll
Every
do
time
it a
I
lot more
watch it,
justice.
yeah, every time I watch it, I cry. So she's currently working on another video for our Christmas cash giveaway. So that's not posted yet. She's been having difficulty with the apps that she's been working with to finish it. So she's about halfway done, but that'll be in there when she's finished with that. But yeah, I mean, we try to take everybody along the journey with us, so you can actually see what the truth is and what's really happening down there.
And I see you guys have a TikTok as well. So that's
Yes.
just a heads up, anyone wanting to look into this more.
Yeah.
And yeah, so here's the Facebook page. I'm surprised it's showing me it, because I usually need to be logged in to look at anything.
Well, apparently, I don't know a lot about this kind of stuff, but apparently we're shadow banned.
Yeah, well, the same thing here on this channel.
Yeah.
So it'll appear like we don't have too many live viewers now, but we'll get at least 100 views in
Yeah.
the next like few weeks or so, you know.
Yeah.
But within the first few days, we should get up to about like 30, 40 views. And a
Yeah.
lot of that's organic and returning subscribers.
Right.
And I know at least if one person helps out and donates, then I mean
Absolutely.
this
Yeah.
interview's done its purpose.
Yes.
But I feel like why not? I need to utilize this platform for good,
Right.
like what we're doing here today, which is helping others. These are military style tents.
Yeah. So actually, I'm glad you put that picture up because it just gave me a reminder. We have two hot tents being sent to us currently. There was a woman from Texas who reached out to me, and she said, "I have $2,000 to spend. How do you want me to spend it?" And so I told her, I said, we need shelter. That's the main thing we need, is to get these people in warm beds. So I think if I had to guess, I think she's probably an older woman. She's not very savvy, computer, things like that. So I did some research and I sent her the link to where she could, get a hot tent. So she actually is sending two complete um tents with the little like wood stove heaters that go inside.
Oh,
So
that's great.
she's doing everything complete, and it's the large ones that sleep 8 to 10 people. It's like 16 feet wide or something like that. Um, so she ended up spending almost, I think, $2,400. So she's feels good knowing that two more families, are going to have a warm place to stay.
That's amazing. And I know the tents, they're different today than they were back in the Civil War era, but I do
Yeah.
Civil War reenacting, and I've seen some of these captain tents where you can
Uh-huh.
have those stoves, and
Right.
I've been inside just the canvas tents,
Yeah.
and they are very warm during the winter.
Yes. Yeah. So Jeff's son, he is staying in a little camp that was so a few acres were donated in the Green Mountain area to our foundation. So his son is actually working out of that camp by himself right now. So he's in a hot tent. And he said it gets up to like 90 degrees in there. So he's probably opening it up right now.
Okay, so Facebook has locked me out.
Of course.
But we got to see a few of the pictures there, and that's
Yeah.
we can you can access that page through this website here. Right at the bottom here, you see the Facebook icon and then TikTok. So all that's accessible and also for donations. But yeah, I'm sorry to interrupt whatever you were saying there.
Oh, no, that's okay. No,
But
but his son's doing like small engine repair. He fixes chainsaws and the generators if somebody needs them. Um, I think he's done some other small motors of sorts. So he plans on being there for quite some time.
so yeah, in terms of supplies and all of that, how has it been, if you have yet at all, dealt with FEMA and how they've treated you guys giving supplies and helping people out?
So I personally have not come across any members of FEMA. Um,
That's good.
Jeff has come across some people who have been impacted in negative ways. Um, I had a woman that I was giving her cash to her for the Christmas giveaway, and she lost everything. Not only did she lose her home, but she also lost her daughter and her son-in-law. Um, her son-in-law was found about 35 miles downriver. Her daughter's body has never been found. And so when I saw her, she just kind of, I don't know, like melted in my arms and just, she said, I've finally accepted that my daughter's gone. And with them losing everything, they had a camper donated to them, they had a truck donated to them, and FEMA showed up on the property of her uncle where she's staying. The uncle has owned the property for 65 years. And FEMA told them they have 180 days to get off the property, that they can either sleep in a tent on that property or they can put a trailer on that property, but they can't keep the camper there. Now, you tell me what sense that makes.
Well, they're
Makes
giving them an ultimatum to vacate the property?
Yes.
Wow.
They
And
told them
what,
they have 180 days. And after 180 days, they're going to, every day they're there, they're going to get a fine.
and is that because there's no longer housing on that property?
That I don't know because it's her uncle's property. So I don't know if it was a safer place, where if he has a home. I don't know that. I just know that they were given a camper. It is on his land that he's owned for 65 years. And FEMA came in and told them that they have 180 days to get that camper off that property.
There's still places that look like this to this day. Like you were saying with your friend in Virginia,
That's
they
yeah, that's Dave Keister's property. He had, so he actually sent me a video of his house going down the river.
Wow.
He and his dogs had to jump out of the back window onto the side of the mountain to escape the water.
Because this
And
water
so,
rose all the way up. Yeah.
yes, yes.
Wow.
So he sent a video. It's about a minute and a half long, and he's like, "There goes my house." And I believe it was his house that took out the bridge that was down a little bit farther.
Wow.
Um, his best friend Lenny lived, I think, beside that property, or two down or whatever. So Lenny and Dave were parking people's cars up on higher land. And Lenny went back down to his house for something, and the water just came through and took him. So they've never found him. So there's like a memorial on his property. The only thing that's standing in Lenny's house right now is the cross that they put there with the memorial and the fireplace. That's it.
Wow. Yeah,
He lost his whole he lost his house. Right by his house, right beside his house, he had a motorcycle shop that he had a 101-year-old motorcycle in there. There was a whole ton, a lot, I don't even know the number of motorcycles he had in there. He has recovered a bunch of them. And then beside that, he had a sewing shop with very unique and very expensive sewing machines. It's all gone.
it looks like there's a motorcycle right here.
Yeah.
Now that you mentioned that. Well, yeah, I was gonna say though, these floodwaters, they weren't expected and they came
No.
very fast, which is
Yes.
the why you said it swept some people away
Because
very
they let the
tragically.
gates open. They let the gates open with a 30-minute warning.
Wow. See, I didn't recall that. Thanks for
Yeah,
bringing
so
that
there's a
up.
lot of people that, that did survive and said it was a wall of water that came through. And that's why.
And I do remember hearing that one dam had a failure, but if they forced the failure like that, like, come on,
Yeah.
guys. And then another dam didn't fail, and I heard that was in a more uh, wealthier part of town,
Yeah.
which is just kind of sick
Mm-hmm.
that you value human life based on currency there.
Right.
I mean, there's a North Branch Chicago River here that runs along Niles where I live, and that feeds into the main Chicago River that you see downtown next to the Trump building and everything. But the flood water that we used to get from there, it was very rare. There's some that hit in the 70s, but people were saying of or reporting of like grand pianos floating and knocking
Right.
into the ceiling of the
Oh,
house
wow.
because that's how high the water got.
Right.
And thankfully it receded fairly quickly. But I mean nothing compared to this. And with there was something else I was gonna say with like the dams, but it escapes me right now. But yeah, the whole thing with like since I live near a river, like I researched the floodplains and everything here back in 2017. I ran a whole mayor campaign on the issue of flooding and how we need to take preventative maintenance on it. And a lot of the homes here in this area have sub pumps now that eject water out into the front yard. And
Mm-hmm.
like that'll take care of so like it'll alleviate some of it. And thankfully we haven't had any torrential downpours or anything of that sort in a long time. And I hope we don't for that much longer because
Right.
it's a very terrible thing to have to deal with. We ended up having a flood in '08 where water entered our basement and went up about 3 feet. And then it happened again a few years after that. But before then, it had never happened before.
Right.
So you're talking 40, 50 years of property and living here and knowing that y- you're safe
Right.
from that type of destruction, and then it just comes through one day. I was just online. seeing these people talking about, oh, I got water in my basement, and I'm like, oh, I might as well go check. And then here I see it starting to creep out of the laundry room. Thankfully, I saw it at that point. We were able to salvage a few things down there. But in the case of North Carolina here, these people have lost everything.
Yes,
So all the all you're asking is for people to pitch in what they can to help people get a warm bed for the night.
right.
And
Yeah. I mean, to live. How about, people understanding these people have a right to live, not
yeah,
not be worried of being out freezing to death,
and I
you
wouldn't
know?
I will not categorize them as homeless because they didn't. There's some people that choose to be homeless, but in
Correct.
this case, like these are flood victims,
Yes. They don't
and
know how
it's
to be homeless.
mhm. They want
I
to
mean,
carry on with their lives, and they
yes.
can't because a lot of their material possessions have been wiped away, especially their
Yes.
housing.
Yep. Yeah. So, everybody that, can hear my voice, if you didn't know these things before, you can't say that now. So now you get to choose. Now you get to choose, where's your heart? Where does your heart lie? You know? And so, that being said, if you can afford $5, send $5. I've said it before. We're a country of like 345 million people. If 1 million people out of that sent $5, that's $5 million. We could do a lot with $5 million.
Oh, that
So
would be amazing.
don't think that your donation is too small.
Yeah, I
Don't be
mean,
ashamed because you're only sending $5. Be ashamed that you're not doing something. That's what you should be ashamed of. If you hear my voice and now you know the truth, and you just, turn the video off and go about your life and don't do anything, then you should be ashamed because, you have to think, if it was you, what would you want people to do? You would be looking for help, and that's what these people need, so don't think that you get to escape, with excuses of why you can't. We can come up with excuses all day long of why you can't do something. You have to say, no, I can do something, figure it out. You
yeah,
would want somebody else to figure it out if it was you, so you need to figure it out.
I believe PayPal does accept cryptocurrency now. So, I mean,
Okay.
even if anybody watching, if you've had some nice gains this past month, especially after the Trump election, if you can take 5-10% out of your crypto, out of
Hmm.
just one portion of whatever you're,
Right.
we're not asking for much from anybody, but if you can
Yeah.
afford it, I mean, you could see, you see what work is being done with these donations, and you have a legit website. You, this is a real person I'm talking to here. It's not
Mhm.
AI. And I've seen Nadine on other channels like Beyond the Box. So, and that's how I got introduced to you. So I'm very thankful for that.
Yeah.
And this platform, I'm gonna I'm gonna try to get this on the Rumble too. And if we can do the TikTok shorts, I'll do that as well.
Yeah.
Since
Awesome.
they have I think like an hour long upload limit now, so that's
Hmm.
perfect for this stuff.
Yeah.
So thank you again, Dean. I'm going to share the screen one more time so people
Okay.
can see everything here. This is the website, fqxwholefoundation.org. And right in the very beginning here, it says click here to donate. It'll take you off to another page with Square. Uh, my browser says it's suspicious, but it is not. So I'm going to say trust this site. And then you can type in whatever amount you want to donate, and every little bit helps. You could see what the results are with, I mean, you're giving these people hope. I mean, that's
Yeah.
another thing. Like the morale is probably beaten out of these people, and you're
Yeah.
here giving it back.
Yeah.
And so that's a very important thing.
A
And
hug
especially
goes
with
a
the
long way.
kids,
Yeah.
like the children, I can't even imagine what they could be thinking about all this
Yeah.
being in the middle of all of it.
No, and it's something that should not be on any child's shoulders.
No, no, I wouldn't wish it on any child or any adult for that matter.
Yeah.
And even the dogs and the pets, the cats.
Yeah.
I mean, they're out there too, and some of them
Yeah.
might still be able to be found.
Yeah.
Like they're pretty resilient out there in the wild, but they do want to come home too. So um, let's I guess let's pray for the best. That's all I can really say on that.
Right.
But if you can help out in any way, my viewers here, my subscribers, you are getting the call from me to help Nadine here with these victims in North Carolina. And my eyes are fresh on the state of North Carolina just this past March. So I can't even imagine what it looks like now. But I remember seeing the houses like on top of hills on the
Uh-huh.
side. I mean, I was like, damn, that'd be a nice place to have being away from everybody. Because I'm just
Yeah.
thinking like, if anybody wanted to like chase me, get to me to my house, they'd have to run up that hill first, and then they'd get
Right.
tired before they'd even make it up there. But then I know probably some of those houses are no longer there, but
No.
that's it's just the way it is. And it's not a natural disaster. I agree with that too.
Yeah.
No hurricanes ever moved that far into the mainland before.
No.
And but we're dealing with the results of that, and that's
Yeah.
all we can do. Justice can come later in the law, but for the meantime, you're looking to help people that need it right now.
No.
And
Yes. They
it's
needed it 2 months ago.
yeah,
That's how dire it is.
wow. I don't think anybody really like can feel the immense weight of all of this because this is a lot of people that got displaced, and we can only help so many, but the people that we can help, we're going to help.
Right.
And so I thank everybody who will donate after this video. I really I really want to see more people back on their feet, and it's not even uh like a channel thing, like, oh, I'm subscribed to the Foxhole Foundation. I want to see more uploads. It's not not that at all. Like I just want to
Mhm.
see the results of your work, which you're busting your butt to do.
Yeah.
And I guess I can't give you enough praise for what you're doing here.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate you having me on here. That's another thing that, people can understand. If you don't have money, share the videos, share the
Yes.
information. That's free, because you may share it to somebody who does have a lot of money. I mean, we got two donations from Australia. We got one donation from Quebec. Okay. So just by you sharing, you don't know who it's going to reach.
Yeah. And I know that there's people all around the world that are subscribed here to Yissa Missile Productions. So I look forward to hearing more stories like that
Hmm.
as a result of having you on here. And I'm not making money on this channel. I'm monetized, but I'm lucky if I get anywhere from 5 to 15 bucks a month.
Right.
And I don't get a payout until it hits 100 bucks. It needs to
Right.
accumulate first. So I've only had two payouts in 2 years.
Wow.
So you tell me how I'm going to survive on 100 bucks a year on this thing.
Exactly.
But the platform is already here. It is built out. I've built quite a following with the work that I do. I mean, the past several years I've been doing a lot of one-on-one video interviews. So
Hmm.
this is right up my alley with how I can help.
Right.
And that's actually, I think, what I initially said was like, I have the reach to get to the eyes of more people, so might as
Hmm.
well help in that
Right.
respect.
Right.
And yeah, that's all we could really do at this point. If we can do more, we will.
Right.
But in the meantime, I wouldn't say we're overworking ourselves. We're doing what has to be done.
Yeah.
And like there's some days we wake up and it's like, oh, I don't want to do this today. Like might be like with me the few days ago, I was under the weather. It's like I had to get stuff done. I had to get packages out to the post office for
Hmm.
eBay orders, and I'm doing media resale right now. So that's how I'm making my income.
Right.
And until the video businesses pick up again with filming with musicians
Mm.
and weddings, this is what I have to resort to, but
Right.
it's what it is.
Right.
I can't really do it, and I can't stress about it too much. Just as long as I'm making ends meet,
Yeah.
then I can sleep peacefully.
Right.
But here you are helping others sleep peacefully that had lost everything from this
Hmm.
disaster. And again, I can't thank you enough for doing what you do. And I'll be following you. I'll be looking forward to you being on Brenda's show again in the future.
Yeah.
And I know that you'll have more success stories to share with us when you get back over there. And yeah, you're more than welcome to come back on my channel here and
Yeah. I
do another
appreciate it.
show.
Thank
We
you.
can give a little update probably in the near future. I won't
Yeah.
put a date on it because it's kind of all over the place right now here.
Yeah.
We're kind of chaotic behind the scenes,
Yeah.
but I mean, I just need to I'm building out different channels now. So this is going to be a launch pad. I'm going to show people like here's like healthy eating, and then I'm going to have them sub to a different channel for that
Right.
full time.
Mhm.
And then here I'll mostly be doing the video interviews with
Mhm.
important people. So you're my important person for today,
Thanks.
and it goes through lo longer than a day, obviously. But I can only have one person on at a time.
Yeah.
But we've been planning this for a little bit, I think a little over a
Yeah.
month. So I'm glad we got you here today to do this. And again, my viewers, if you could help out, please do. We were asking on the other channel to if you even if you have $5 or $10,
Hmm.
that's going to go a long way. That's going to help towards somebody being in a bed, in a
Yes.
hotel room, and you will see it work in real time, especially with
Mhm.
how vocal Nadine is with getting the message out here.
Yeah.
So, um, all right, we've gone over an hour, but I didn't want to keep you too long. I think we hit on everything we needed to,
Yeah. Mhm.
and yeah, we're staying positive with this. You're gonna be helping more people. It's something that if you weren't there, I wouldn't want to know what these people would have done.
Right.
So I think you're very vital to this whole relief effort. And again, yes. So their website is foxholefoundation.org. The O in Fox is a Q, so it's fqxholefoundation.org, and that's where you can find all the work they've been doing here with Nadine. And that's a way, that is the main place where you can donate. And they also have Facebook and TikTok where you can follow them on there.
Mhm.
And they are posting frequent updates. That photo collage I just showed earlier is from 13 hours ago. So that's something very fresh from today.
Mhm.
And I guess you can expect to see more of that as the
Yeah.
days roll on. But yeah, I appreciate having you here, Nadine. I really, uh, I believe in your cause and what you're doing. I think it's very honorable. And so a lot of people say they wish they can do it, and here you are out there doing it. And
Yeah.
so that's something that nobody can take away from you.
Right.
And you're not doing this for clout. You're doing this out of the kindness of your heart. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, I
again,
really appreciate you having me on. You have no idea how much I appreciate.
yeah, the 2,000 subs. I really hope that does something. I mean, come on, people, come on. We need to help each other out here, and I
Yeah.
mean, I consider this country a family.
Yes.
So North Carolina is just 16 hours away from here. It's not that far.
No. No. And just imagine, if you're in a cold climate, if you want to understand what they're going through, go outside and sleep in a tent for a week. See how long you can last.
Yeah,
I won't last 10 minutes because I hate the cold.
yeah, same here.
So, I'm just saying, to make it real to yourself, to understand what these people are going through, you know,
Yeah, having no choice but to sleep outside. And
Yeah,
even
don't use
if
your
you were to,
bathroom. Lock yourself out of your house. Don't use your bathroom. Don't fill your tent with food. Just go outside and see how long you can last there. You're not going to last very long, and but the thing is that you get to go unlock your door and go back in. They don't. They don't have a door to unlock anymore.
yeah, they don't have that
It's
choice.
gone. So,
Well, you're giving everybody hope and you're
thank
giving people a reason to continue on. And I think that's very important.
yeah,
And uh so yeah, foxholefoundation.org, FQX wholefoundation.org.
yeah,
And PayPal's accepted. And like I said, if you have some crypto earnings, throw a few over here to help these people out.
yeah.
That'd be fantastic. But thank you again, Nadine. So
Thank you for
I'll
having me.
yes, I do want to wish you the best. And this is not a goodbye. I do want to hear an update from you in the future. But
Okay.
until then, um, take care of yourself
Thank
as
you. You
much
too.
as you're. And yeah, we'll see you again soon.
All right. Have a good night.
All right, thanks.
Bye.
Bye. All right, everybody. So that was Nadine. And so here we are at the end of this stream. I do want to thank everybody who has tuned in to watch. I I really wanted to do this sooner, but this is the time that I was given here. And yeah, Nadine's a good person. I really respect what she does. So yeah, everybody, until the next one, I hope you are all doing well and class dismissed.